What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Hockey Lab Podcast. As always, I'm your host, Coach A. Here with
Coach Gards here. How are you, buddy?
Did you get your new water bottle?
Oh, no, I haven't seen those.
Get you one.
That's very nice.
Oh, Gary Roberts Performance, blue and white.
Perfect.
So
we're getting close here. We're getting close. Getting excited.
Staying hydrated. I don't know. Oh, as I said that, I spilled water all over myself. I don't know how crispy the audio is, but I can hear someone just getting punished on the assault bike.
I can hear that too.
There. Never fun. Fun time for hockey.
I
though.
did the assault bike yesterday, actually.
Did
It was just that cool 20 minutes. It was
just a cool 20.
Yeah, it's a good pace.
It's a good tool, man.
Yeah.
It's a nice tool. It beats, if you don't want to run, it's a nice option.
I'm sure there's a couple guys wishing the Leafs were on the assault bike tonight or today.
I had a hilarious conversation yesterday about the Leafs. The fans are, they're loyal right now. We'll see if that continues. But
Let's talk about the fans a week ago.
yeah,
We're going to sweep them. I'm like, calm down.
pump the brakes. Pump the brakes.
It's hard. It's hard winning that fourth game.
Closing out.
Closing out is hard.
Yeah.
Your mind starts to wander. I mean, I couldn't imagine, like I've talked to Landy a little bit about it, but like I couldn't imagine going into a game knowing like you could win the Stanley Cup, like what that feeling must be.
Right.
Like we've had the ones where we've won in Europe, but like, you know, in the World Championships going into a gold medal game, but like going in knowing like this could be the chance.
It might get done tonight.
And that's where I think like some of these coaches are pretty special, the way they obviously prepare the guys, but I mean, I still think they'll get it done. I just, maybe they need a little bit of this.
What's your prediction?
I think they win in Ottawa.
You think they win in Ottawa?
Yeah.
So we're
I
going.
think they tighten it up and they win. I'm going to say 3-1 with an empty netter.
3-1 empty netter on what's that, Thursday? I guess so. Tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what were you saying? Sorry, I interrupted you there. You had a conversation with.
Just the fan. Yeah, hilarious. Like yesterday, we were talking about the Leafs, and this guy was in getting treatment with Dr. Mike downstairs, and he's like, "What do you guys think?" I was with Benny, and he like launched into it, and he had it all laid out. He's like, "Oh, the boys are firing. Big dogs are showing up. Chiefs got them in line. They're not too stressed. They're mellowing it out." The exact opposite, basically. Yeah. Whatever he said is not what happened last night. But there is, I'm not saying that they don't have some good players, but there is definitely a difference. Like you watch like McDavid or McKinnon, like you watch them take over games. Even like Colorado lost 6-2, but they're down 2-0, and McKinnon just drags them back to 2-2.
Did you notice last night a different, I don't know if you stayed up because it's always tough. I watched the first period. I was back and forth with the I was back and forth with the overtime with the Carolina, and Jersey. But like they were showing clips of McDavid, just his demeanor was a little bit different. He was a little bit, I don't know, relaxed or smiling. He had
a little looser.
A little looser. He had I don't know if that's just maturity or if he's changing
compared to when.
Just compared to like always that stoic kind of like really fired up. I mean, he's always competing, but I don't know. They just brought it up on the telecast, and I don't know. I wonder if he's taking a different approach sometimes.
Well, I certainly think there's a maturity about him. But I mean, I've definitely noticed that. That's natural. I think just coming with like his time in the league, but it's also something that he works on.
Yeah,
as well. Just in the way that he handles like wins and losses. It's definitely changed.
It's a hard thing. It's so many ups and downs, and I mean, you're jumping on a plane, flying across the country again, and I look at Toronto and I think they started so well, but I mean, let's be honest, like they won a couple in overtime, didn't they? So it's close, right? Mm-hmm. Everything's close. Everything could go both ways, but I just do think that their body of work and the way they've played in tight situations over the last, this season, I think they'll go, but. Man, it's got to be hard to play in Toronto. It's got to be awful.
I would say, yeah, but I do not think it's any harder to play in Toronto than it is to play in Edmonton. I don't think it's any harder to play in Toronto than it is to play in Vancouver. Like, I really don't. Like you talked about.
I mean, you're talking the Canadian teams here, now, right?
Like Chris Tanev says it's harder to play in Vancouver than Toronto.
Really?
He's done both. Vancouver's media is savage.
Yeah, or Montreal's a real hard part. So
Montreal's hard to play in. Yeah, I think if you're in like those big Canadian markets, it is tough.
And then there's a drought going on, and
I know. I see it in Boston Pizza or whatever commercials right now. Have you seen those?
No.
It's like we're planning the parade.
Oh,
Canadian teams winning a cup this year.
Yeah.
So you can come in, Guck. Come on, bud. I think no matter whatever Canadian Whatever
Canada's
Canadian
one.
city you're in, I think it's tough
Yeah,
to play.
100%.
Hockey.
But then you go to Denver and you're like they were,
Speaking of.
yeah, I mean, we need them to go, but you walk around and like there's baseball, there's basketball, there's,
Different
football.
sports,
There's so many different sports. I mean, we have a couple different sports here, but yeah, it's crazy. I mean, I don't know. We talked about it a couple pods ago. It's just like the intensity of some of the fans.
Well, the Avs faithful, having just been there last week for
Yeah.
Landy's like first game back,
It was great.
was insane.
Yeah.
Like insane. Like I mean, I haven't been to a Leaf playoff game this year. I heard that the arena's been out of control. Like a couple people have come in. Even Gary came in and said it was an electric environment.
Yeah.
But I would say that there were a couple of 3 or 4 minute segments where you could not hear yourself if you were screaming because it was so loud.
And also him coming back was a huge
Yeah, him coming back was a big thing. But just like they had a drought for a long time too, right? Like they had those amazing years, Colorado.
Sakic and the boys, yeah.
And then they were a bad hockey team.
Well, they talk about, Landy talks about it, him and those guys at the start of when he was 18 or 19, it was hard.
Calvin Pickard.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, he was his goalie at the time. They had a terrible year.
I love the atmosphere. I can't stand though, and whoever the guys that go to the the games, I know you're intense and I know you're fans, but like let the boys play. Like the two guys sitting behind me like last year in the playoffs with my kid, and they're yelling shoot every time everybody had the puck, and I was just like, I think they know what they're doing. Like just leave it. Like why aren't you guys shooting the puck? I'm like, but anyways, yeah. I mean, look, they're going to struggle. I think maybe getting out of Toronto, Ottawa's going to have a lot of Toronto Maple Leaf fans, so it's kind of like a home game anyway. So it'll be good.
I don't think it matters though.
Fans at home?
No. Like if you win that series, you walk right into Florida.
Yeah.
Like
South Florida.
The Panthers are a very good hockey team.
Yeah.
They are big. They're kind of, I said this yesterday, tell me what you think. They're kind of like a Western Conference team in the East. Like they're big, they're strong, they're physical.
Yeah.
Like they get in your face.
They got some big forwards that can play. They got some skill.
They had some good defensemen on the back end. Now Ekblad's out for a couple games, but
yeah,
that was
why they got
crazy hit.
the other kid get a boarding penalty. The Finnish guy, he's good. I mean, they got Seth Jones now, big body, can move.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough. Either way, coming to Florida.
Yeah, it's not going to be easy. But anyway, playoff hockey, great.
It is great, and last night I was like, okay, it's like day after day after day after day, couple games, you're like, great, and then the NHL just goes like, and then all of a sudden it just pauses, like, and then you're like, 4 days till like another game, and you're like, what happened? Why? Just keep it rolling.
Yeah,
keep it rolling.
I know.
Keep it rolling.
And then we're in conference finals for the O as well, so we have a few dogs, a few horses in that race. Barlow, Griff, Jens.
They look good.
Yeah, Barks in London, although he had a bit of an injury. So
we hope he's speedy recover. Yeah, I mean, it's good. It goes quick too, right? Like, we've seen the guys come back into the gym, and you kind of get, unfortunate, you get to the NHL playoffs and you forget about the OHL. So
I've watched a lot, actually. We have CHL like TV, so we've got the app at home. So I've watched a decent amount of the OHL. They've got to get on TSN, man. Come on. Like,
they got to come back.
Like, they've got to come back.
Yeah.
Like, TSN is starving for hockey.
Especially at this time.
Well,
just pick them up.
But even all times. Like, I know they cover the PWHL, so you got 24 games.
That's going into the playoffs now.
That's going to playoffs now. But then, like, you don't have anywhere hockey. Like, sports that has it all here, locally.
I've seen axe throwing on it.
Yeah.
Have you seen it?
Yeah.
The axe throwing,
lumberjack championships.
I like the lumberjack championships.
Yeah,
I'm not sure about the axe throwing one.
I watched the full strongman World Series, which was cool, but nonetheless, like, I think they are next. There's so many stars, like future stars.
I think so too, and it's such a good brand of hockey, and they're intense, and they're kids learning, and there's good scoring and all that stuff. So it's exciting.
Yeah,
it's a good time to be watching. A lot of these kids now have gone through tryouts. The younger kids. Their fittings and all that stuff's done. Now they get a little bit break, so maybe they can, stay up a little, maybe an hour later and watch some hockey and get to learn what it's really about, right? This is the time where, we talk about it. You try to play this way during the season, so it's not a flip switch where it's like, okay, staying under pucks, turnovers are key, right?
Simple hockey. Like,
I saw a turnover today in Wednesday hockey, one bad pass and it's the back of our net,
Simple fundamental
Simple hockey, good. You still have the opportunity to make
course.
skill plays. It's just where do you make those skill plays, right? Do you
Well-
make them under the hash marks, under the tops of the circles with coverage, or are you trying it
Or
neutral?
are you 55 coming out of the zone
Yeah, he was
2 games ago.
I know.
Trying
I know.
to toe drag instead of just chipping off the boards.
He's young. He'll learn.
No,
He's
but that's
doing
what I'm saying. Like
yes.
that's it right
Yes.
there. It's
I know, and I know he was thinking about it, but it's okay.
Yeah.
Come on. He's fine.
I know he's fine.
He's a dog. He's good, man.
But
he's good.
But it's a good example for kids.
Exactly.
It's a great
Right?
example.
And you always learn, right? You learn every year.
So
And maybe Toronto's got to learn a little bit too.
yeah, just you got to learn another game. 1-13 in clinching games.
Yeah.
It's an insane stat. Anyway, hockey Telus Cup just finished. Maddox Schultz, shout out Maddox.
Unreal, right?
Geez.
20 points.
Yeah, game winner, GWG overtime. So he's coming in a couple weeks actually. So I'm excited. He's a sweetheart of a kid, amazing kid. So we're happy to have him spend some time with us. But yeah, that's closed out. So we're into the off season, truthfully, for pretty much everyone.
Yeah, I mean, we'll run right to the end of June with the NHL.
Well, I know.
They always do. But yeah, off season, different sports like Cody was talking about. I mean, we've talked about this before. I just, the transition is hard for some of these kids. So it's very important to, still get their rest, still drink, like you're doing right now, hydrating, gets lots of water.
Sipping some agua.
And I think the biggest thing too, I see with my guys is like, they get into like running right away and it's cold still and they get onto the, the lacrosse fields or they're, you're in the, playing baseball, you're swinging different motions and they need to stretch. Like,
some stretching.
I never did it as a kid, but like, what is it? Why? It's just not something younger kids do. They just don't think they have to, or
yeah, I think that's a factor. I don't know. I think the big thing is just having like a proper program right now, like we've talked about a lot, right? So it's post off season, GPP, general physical preparation. That means that you're gradually introducing these different attributes.
Motions.
So, whether it is like throwing a ball or sprinting or whatever, you got to build it up a little bit over the next.
And that's the problem. They jump right into it. Yeah. And
I do get it. It's not like they're kids. They're resilient. There's no question about it. But yeah, it's helpful to, maybe stage it a little bit.
So if these OHL guys that are coming in now, they're just doing some prep work, movements. I see the boys in there now.
Yeah, I would say like we're trying to hit on really, really general preparation. So can we get your body moving, feeling good again is the main thing. Can we start to introduce the different things that we're going to do throughout the off season? So, we're going to do a lot of sprinting and plyometrics because if you want to get fast, you need to sprint and you need to jump, right? Run, jump, throw. That'll help with your speed. But we can't go from 0 to 400 touch points in a week. We need to go from like 0 to 100, 100 to 150, 150 to 200. So we're just going to gradually build that up. In the gym, same thing. Rep set range, kind of like 3 to 8s, 3 sets, 8 reps, 10 reps, 12 reps, higher rep range.
Right.
Just getting the body through full range of motion, which is really, really important. And from a conditioning perspective, like let's start to work on your aerobic system, get some zone 2, low and slow.
My kind of zone.
Yeah, your zone. Yeah, exactly. But no, you don't need to be hammering like really, really hard intervals right now. Like there's a time and a place, obviously, but let's build up into it. Going to play other sports, like you said, soccer, the ultimate frisbee, like all of these things are essentially tempo runs. So you could go to the field and you could run down the one side and walk across the end zone and run down the other side. And that would be a great tempo run workout. Or you could probably go play ultimate with your friends.
Yeah.
And if you looked at, and they've done this, if you looked at GPS tracking data and heart rate data, they're pretty similar. So just
go take your brain out of it.
Yeah, just
go play and have some fun.
Go and be reactive and like cut and move and like start to work on. We played the last couple of days. I've been making a point to play a game before. So we've been playing like no step Euro handball, basically. Just like check up, just like you're playing half court basketball.
Yep.
2v2, 3v3 in the lobby, like out here, right? And then we just have like a hurdle set up for our net.
Yeah.
So you got to throw it through. And it's like, yeah, okay, well, we're probably going to get a better warm-up than we were going to get otherwise because we're going to have way more intent and focus,
and
which really matters.
Competitiveness, yeah.
Well, because it's competitive. So now we're going to work way harder.
Right.
But we're also going to get a bunch of jumping and we're going to get a bunch of cutting and you're going to stop and fake and try and move around people. And we're going to start to teach the brain how to move a little bit. We're playing 3-on-3 handball, not that different from playing 3-on-3 hockey. It's like make a pass, move, make a lane, pass, move. Like
jump into a spot,
kind of like lay a little pick.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden we're starting to learn how to problem solve through the game.
Yeah.
And so things like that at this point in the off season are just so important. Like,
I mean, we do it telling Cam the other day about practices. We do small area games to start practice all the time. I feel like it gets the brain into it, gets you intense, you get a sweat on, you're competitive, you're ready to go, you're excited, it's a fun thing to do. At the same time, it's checking a lot of boxes.
Yeah.
And I think it's no different. I think it's, you watch us come in here. When we come in, you roll out. Okay, you kind of do it a half workout, half warm up, and then off you go, right? And I think it's great for the kids. I mean, I know a lot of kids, especially some of the kids that are kind of coming up through the ranks now. You're 11, you're 12, 13, maybe 14-year-olds. They're trying to put weight on. So what would you be telling them in this point of time? Like, how are we getting? What am I doing in my body that I have to get ready to put weight on?
A couple different things. I think training and getting some like more training frequency is important. So it's like, yeah, at least 2 days a week in the gym. I would love to see kids come in for a shorter time period and come in more often. Like, we would love it. I get it. Like, logistically, it's a challenge, but we'd love to see kids 4 days a week, and it doesn't have to be for long. It could be 45 minutes, 4 days a week, because now you're getting lots of touch points. You're getting in the routine. You're building a habit. You're understanding the culture. You know what to do when you come in. You're not uncomfortable in the facility. And it's like, okay, well, then we're going to hit big movements, fundamental movements. We're going to squat. We're going to deadlift. We're going to row. We're going to press. We're going to do something on one leg. Yeah. We're going to do something powerful, explosive. Maybe it's going to be an Olympic lift if you're a little older, or we're just teaching. We're throwing med balls. We're jumping with dumbbells, whatever it might be. But just having like a committed frequency matters for these kids.
And you get more touch points if you come more times.
Exactly, 100%. And so you have to eat more. Obviously, Syl's been on. She's talked about that a lot from a nutritional perspective. You need to hit your calorie goals. You need to hit your protein goals. Okay, so you want to put on weight, we need to be in a 500 calorie surplus daily. So for a lot of these kids, they probably need to eat 3,000, 3,500 calories. It's a lot of food. Okay.
A lot.
And then you need to eat enough protein to support that. So if you weigh 140 and you want to weigh 150, you probably need to eat 150 grams of protein a day, which is a lot. So I'm not saying it's not, but you can't just eat that and not strength train. Like, that's where it gets missed. Like, if you just eat that and you do everything the exact same, you might put on some weight, and you probably will, but you're not going to put on muscle mass, and lean muscle mass is what matters. Like,
right.
We want to build body armor, and then bigger muscles go faster. Yeah. Right. You need volume. Like, you need a large amount of muscle mass to then weaponize it. Yeah. Basically. So yeah, I think that's really, really important. There's like, training breaks down to a bunch of different categories. But as a young athlete coming in, it is incredibly important that we hit our strength targets, right? Like, you want to be a mutant.
So if somebody couldn't come, let's say logistically wise, they're they can't make it twice a week.
So do it on your own.
So do it on their own. So they don't have weights. They don't have the setup at home. So are we talking like a pull-up bar, some push-ups, maybe some lunging?
Yeah, if you're a young athlete, there's so much
or
go at home.
I mean, does somebody going to play ultimate frisbee as a kid or going to play lacrosse? Is that gonna make your muscles bigger, or is it just gonna burn everything?
It's gonna develop different attributes of athleticism.
So that's okay though.
So that's fine. Yeah. Of course, absolutely. Okay. But it's like, yeah, we can be at home and just hit like a great isometric workout. Like, you can go and do an isometric lunge for 3 minutes a leg.
Yeah.
Like, it's going to take you a couple.
We did at the cottage the other day.
Yeah, it might be 1 minute, and then you have to rest, and then it's another minute, then you rest, and it's 30 seconds. But you're going to get a lot of value out of that.
Right.
And you can stare at this block wall. Like, you don't need any space. Yeah. Right. So there are a variety of different ways to skin a cat, for sure. But I think like having regularity of touches matters. Consuming enough food and fuel obviously matters. But yeah, and then you need to prioritize getting stronger right now.
Does prioritizing a lot more food, does it matter for a lot of these kids when, or they just get it in them? Because now we're getting into I know it's hard.
I would say, yeah. Does it matter?
Just get it in them.
Yeah, get it in for sure. Like, just for digestive reasons, you probably want to spread it out. But but it's like every 3 hours, you're having a good meal, a solid meal, and we're gonna have to build up to it a little bit. Like, it's gonna be uncomfortable.
Yeah, it can't be forced.
But
a little bit it can.
But a little bit, like, yeah, you're gonna have to be a bit uncomfortable. It's if that's what you want.
Right.
You don't have to want that. You decide if you want it. But if you do want it, so growth and comfort don't exist together. If you want to be comfortable, you don't get to grow. Right. If you want to grow, you don't get to be comfortable.
Right.
And so that's lifting weights. Lifting weights is uncomfortable. There's no question about it. If you lift hard, if you hit an RPE of 8, 9, 10, which means like a level of perceived exertion, like, that will hurt.
Yeah, and it'll hurt the next day, and
it'll be painful, right?
Yeah.
And eating, well, yeah, you're going to be a bit full,
Yeah.
and it's not going to be the most comfortable.
Yeah.
But
Well, for me, it's the other way.
Yeah. Well,
I'm comfortable of not eating.
Well,
a lot.
exactly.
That's right, but it's okay.
We get a lot of executive clients in here, and I will literally text them and say, "Hunger's your friend this weekend, eh?" Like,
yeah,
it's okay to be a little hungry.
just drink a lot of water.
You've got to stress the system a bit if you want to make changes.
Yeah, but that's life in general.
Of course.
That's
Of course.
I mean, if it was comfortable all the time, I don't think anybody would be great.
No, obviously not.
I think it's everybody sits back and says, "Well, my kid will grow when obviously puberty is a big factor of it, but he'll start to grow." But there's a lot of things that you can do, like put the food in the system, put the good food there, do a little bit of conditioning, do a little bit of workouts, do that kind of stuff, and then once it hits, like you said, you've seen it with kids. You get shot out of a cannon, you get a jump start on everything.
Okay, so if there's let's use two kids, right? You get same situation right now. They both weigh 107 pounds. They're both 13 years old, right?
Okay.
And one of them commits to the process starting from now at 13. And he trains regularly, and he eats properly, and he continues to get stronger. So when he does hit puberty, they both hit, and the other one does not. And then they both hit puberty at the same time. And now they both weigh, 154 pounds. We're 2 years down the road. Like, when a 50-50 battle happens in the corner and they meet each other, what do you think is going to happen?
Yeah.
He's going to run through him. The kid that's been trained is going to run through him.
Yeah.
He's going to blow him up.
Yeah.
He really is. Now, obviously, kids develop differently, and some kids are just naturally strong and powerful. But you can't tell me that if you have a kid in here that's, squatting, whatever. He's 16 years old. He's squatting 225, 250 pounds. He's benching 185 pounds. He's cleaning 185 pounds. He's going to run through kids.
Yeah.
And it's going to be an asset. So you need technical skill. There's no question. But once you have that technical skill, you need an engine that allows you to deploy it, right? So if you're wanting to hit a golf ball further, we've used this example before, if I can't even get into the position and I don't have the technical ability, well, then I should prioritize that. Because until I can put my body in the right shape and have technical skill, it doesn't matter, right?
Exactly.
But once I have that, now I need to weaponize it, which means I need to get faster and stronger.
Yeah, and I think my message to the kids, and it's a hard one, I think the parents get it, but it's it's not going to happen overnight.
No.
And that's the biggest thing. It's
but that's why I say touch points are important, because it's not going to happen overnight. So let's get in a routine. Let's get comfortable. Let's know what it means to go and train. And let's invest day after day.
You have to invest, and if it's something you really want, it'll come to fruition. And I think it's like anything. I think good things are have to wait for them sometimes.
Always.
So, but so I think kids, it's very like you were saying, important to eat properly. Don't just go off the map. And start going to McDonald's or eating Dairy Queen or going to the Hasty Markets or the old Hasty Markets. You like that call? Yeah. And, getting a slushie. I saw a guy filling up a slushie the other day. I was like, it's the first time I've seen anybody use a slushie machine in a long time. So, but no, it's an exciting time. Days are getting longer. Hopefully the weather turns, get outside, go for walks, do kind of, get back into nature and enjoy a little break. But as the break is there, you still got to do something.
Yeah.
You still got to do something. So, we got a couple big games, so let's go, boys.
We got? Yeah, you said
3-1 Toronto.
3-1 Toronto, and then the Oil.
They'll play next Thursday too.
They play next Thursday, Cam. I think they play Thursday.
I'm gonna say 4-3 Edmonton.
Okay,
it's over. Yeah, and then Abs tonight are gonna go. They're gonna go off tonight. Kale's gonna play it, and we're gonna go. I think we're going 5-1 Abs. No, tomorrow. 5-1 Avs.
Then pushing it to Game 7.
They're going to Game 7. Landy's getting 1-1.
1-1.
Yeah, he's going to score on the power play in front of that for sure. He's too good of a player. So, we're hoping for that.
That shot, that goal that he scored.
Lovely.
Oh, rocket.
Lovely.
Absolute rocket. Awesome. KY, thanks for being on, man.
Thank you.
Take care, guys.